Congresswoman, you are here with your State of the Union guest, Victorina Morales, and her attorney, Mr. Romero. Tell us, why did you invite Ms. Morales?
For a couple of reasons. Number one, she's such a courageous and brave individual, standing up for those who otherwise wouldn't have any voice, and I kind of relate to that. She's the face of immigration, I think. You know, she's honest, hardworking, pays her taxes, lives in a community, tries to be part of it, wanted a better life for her family, came to the United States of America because we've typically been the beacon of hope and the beacon of welcoming. And also, on a not so positive note, she is the face of the Trump hypocrisy. President Trump has vilified, demonized, and dehumanized immigrants since he's been in office, but particularly during the time when he was justifying that terrible shutdown. But the businessman, Donald Trump, found no problem with identifying undocumented individuals, hiring them, having his company facilitating getting them documents that are fraudulent but looked more realistic, and then employing them under conditions that were not good, harassing them, not giving them benefits, paying them lower wages. So to me, Ms. Morales represents the duality of this president that we have.
What is Ms. Morales' employment status right now, Ms. Romero?
Her last day of work for the Trump organization was in December 4th, and she is unemployed at the moment. She is not legally allowed to work in the United States. She has applied for asylum. We are hoping that she will be able to get a work permit in a few months, but until now, she's home.
She's undocumented?
She's undocumented.
How did she get fired? Did she quit?
Well, no. Her last day was December 4th. The New York Times wrote the piece and published it on December 6th, and I advised her not to return for her own safety after that.
Why?
I was concerned. Obviously, the story was now public that she had been working for the Trump organization as an undocumented immigrant. She talked about how the golf club supervisor helped her obtain fraudulent documents in order to work there. She complained of threats of abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, and in fact, hours after the story was published, the same woman who physically assaulted her, her supervisor, who verbally assaulted her, called her. I was there with her. I advised her not to pick up the phone. We were concerned, so I said it's probably better that you do not return to work.
Is she concerned at all about showing up at tonight's State of the Union in such a public format?
She's a brave woman. She's a brave woman. I mean, undocumented immigrants in the United States are afraid to talk. She came to my office and said, I've had enough. I need to tell my story. This is not fair what's happening to me. And I asked her this question today, are you afraid today? And she said, no, I'm not afraid anymore. People are listening to me is what she's saying. And that empowers me to continue to tell my story. But again, there's no reason to arrest her. There's no reason to harass her. She's applied for asylum. I have, in my career, never seen someone who has applied to asylum with a clean criminal record ever arrested. There's no reason to arrest her.
Well, there's also this situation where there obviously were violations of labor laws. There were conditions which were harassing, hostile work environment. So Ms. Morales is a material witness as well as an asylum seeker. And for those two reasons, either or and, she should not be touched now.
Congresswoman, the roll call headline is that Democrats are inviting guests like Ms. Morales to tweak the president.
You know what? For me personally, and I think a lot of my colleagues feel the same way, we use these invitations to the State of the Union address to showcase issues that are very important, or the face of issues that are very important. Not just anybody wants to come to the State of the Union. One year during the Muslim ban, I invited Imam Shibli. Another year, I recognized Reese Taylor, who was a black woman who was violated, raped, and did not see justice down south. And this year, there's no more important issue than what this administration is doing, dehumanizing and demoralizing and trying to portray immigrants as evil and unwanted in this country. And so you used whatever platform I believe that God gives you to be able to raise the voice and the concern of those that otherwise wouldn't have that voice. Ms. Morales is very brave and very courageous to do this, and I admire her tremendously. And it was my honor to reach out and find out that we had access to her, that she actually is in my district.
Are there any guidelines for you as a lawmaker on who you can bring to the State of the Union address?
No.
And how does it work? How are you able to invite a guest this evening?
I invite them. Their information is shared with the Secret Service. They're vetted and they're approved, and you know, they attend.
What are you hoping to hear from the president tonight?
You know, I am praying that this president finds his way to discuss positive, unifying things. I don't expect him to have the kind of will or conscience to apologize for any of his wrongdoing, but I would love to see him talk about moving forward and finding a pathway for citizenship and recognizing that immigrants come to this country for a variety of reasons. Even his parents came here for a variety of reasons, that this country was made great because of immigrants. I want to hear him talk about the important things that people want to talk about. We need jobs. We need an infrastructure. We need to ensure that we're doing what we have to do to prevent opioid abuses. We have civil rights issues, voting rights issues. We have healthcare issues, making sure that we are ensuring that people have access to affordable and comprehensive health care and lowering the cost of prescriptions. That's what people want to hear about domestically. And you know, it would be helpful if we could feel confident that he knows what he's doing on the international scene as well. But for right now, I'd be just very happy if he spent his 45 minutes to an hour talking about his vision for this country domestically.
Congresswoman, Ms. Morales, Mr. Romero, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Congressman Joyce, you have your ticket for the State of the Union.